Welcome back, dear students, to our SST class, Chapter 1 of History, Tracing Changes Through 1,000 Years. Our next heading is New Social and Political Groups. The study of the 1,000 years between 700 and 1750 is a huge change to historians, largely because of the scale and variety of development. It means when the historians started studying this year, they found that many changes had come during this period. What were the changes? The first change they saw, the technical change. The technical change was the Persian wheel was used in irrigation, the spinning wheel in weaving, and firearms in combat. So, at the same time, new beverages and foods also were arrived in subcontinent, like potatoes, corn, chili, tea, and coffees. So, as a result, this was a period of economic change as well as political and social and cultural change. Now, this period was also very important for people because it brought great mobility. Mobility means the people started traveling from one place to another place in search of opportunity. Because the subcontinent has immense wealth and people had the opportunity to earn money. One of the group was very important during this period was Rajputs. Now, Rajput word is derived from Rajputra. It means the son of the king. Now, between the 8th and the 14th century, this was applied for the people who were in the group of warriors, like they were claimed to be Kshatriyas. Other than this, there were other groups of people such as Marathas, Sikhs, Jats, etc. They also used the opportunity to become politically important. It means they formed a different group and they said to be the leader of their groups. During this period, there was a gradual clearing of forest. People started cutting down the forest for the extension of agriculture. A fast change had come in this period. So it affected their lifestyle also. It means people started living on one place and they started owning their land. It means a new group arrived and that was peasant. Peasant means in Hindi we say kisan. So this new group affected the whole market. So it started paying the taxes and service to the local landlords. So as a result, significant economic and social differences emerged amongst peasants. Now, as a result, significant economic and social differences could be seen amongst peasants. It means some people owned more land and some kept cattle. Some possessed more land and some kept cattle along with the agriculture activity. So, as a result, people were grouped into jatis and subcastes. So, this was because of their background, the basis of their backgrounds and the occupations which they were doing. Now, the ranks also were not fixed permanently. This was not fixed permanently. This could be changed. The members of the jatis framed their own rules and regulations, and these rules and regulations were controlled by an assembly of elders. It means they framed a jati panchayat, and jati panchayat only could decide the changes in the group. And jatis were also required to follow the rules of their villages. It means the panchayat had to decide what the village has to do. So we know very well what is about the panchayat. So many villages together were governed by a chieftain. Chieftain is a head of our many villages. Region and empire. Large states like those of Chelas, Tughlaqs or Mughals encompassed many regions. Means they had different regions and they owned different large lands under their rules. A Sanskrit Prashasti. What is Prashasti? It's a praising form, writing in a praising form for the Sultan or for the king. Now, example is given here, the praising the Delhi Sultan Ghiyasuddin Balban. What it said, it explained that he was the ruler of a vast empire that stretched from Bengal in the east to Ghazni in Afghanistan in the west and included all the South India, that is Dravida. Now the question arises, why Prashasti is written only in Sanskrit? On this page we can see language and regions. In 1318, the poet Amir Khusro noted that there were so many other languages also in the region like Sindhi, Lahori, Kashmiri, Gujarati, Telangani, etc. In spite of these languages, Prashasti was written only in Sanskrit because this language was spoken by Brahmins, and the Brahmins were the people who were writing Prashasti. So that's why this was written in Sanskrit. Old and new religions. It was during this period that important changes occurred in what we call Hinduism today. These included the worship of new deities, the constructions of temple by royalty, and the growing importance of Brahmins, the priests, as dominant groups in society. Why Brahmins were given the importance? If you remember what Amir Khusro had said regarding Sanskrit knowledge and Brahmins, he said that Brahmins were the people who knew Sanskrit. So because of the knowledge of Sanskrit, they got importance and respect in the society. One of the major developments of this period was the emergence of idea of bhakti. Emerging of idea of bhakti, of loving personal deity, and devotees could reach without the aid of priests or elaborate rituals. Now it was the period also when new religions appeared in the subcontinent. Now merchants and migrants, when they came to India, they also brought their teachings of Holy Quran in India in the 7th century. Now Muslims regard the Quran as a holy book and accepted the sovereignty of the one God, that is Allah. We saw in Hinduism, people started worshipping their deities. It means they had many gods. Contrary to this, Muslims regarded Quran as their holy book and they accepted that there is only one God and there is no difference in the people regarding to the social background. There were two types of Muslims, Shia Muslims and Sunni Muslims. Now the first Shia Muslims were the believers of Prophet Muhammad, Ali's son-in-law, who is called Ali. They said that he was the legitimate leader of the Muslim community. And the Sunni Muslims who accepted the authority of the early leaders, Khalifas of the community, and they followed him and his teaching. Thinking about the time and historical periods. Now historian divided the history into three parts, like ancient history, medieval history and modern history. So we have studied already ancient history. Now we are studying medieval history. So in the middle of the 19th century, British historians divided the history of India into three periods, that is Hindu, Muslim and British. This division was based on the idea that the religion of rulers was the only important historical change and that there were no other significant developments in the economic, society or culture. Such a division also ignored the rich diversity of the subcontinent. The histories you read last year included a wide range of early societies. So we have learned about the herders, hunter-gatherers, early farmers, people living in the towns and villages, and the early empires and the kingdoms. The histories you will be learning or studying during this year are often described as medieval history. So in the medieval history, what changes had come after the early period, this we are going to discuss. Now moreover, the medieval period is often constructed on the basis of modern period. So these are very correlated. So whatever change occurred in medieval period could be seen in the modern period also. So modernity carries with it a sense of material progress. and intellectual advancement. This seems to suggest that the medieval period was lacking in any change whatsoever. But of course, we know this was not the case. Now, during these 1,000 years, the society of the subcontinent were transformed often, and economics in several regions reached a level of prosperity that attracted the interest of European trading companies. It means the development had started in the society, and this development attracted the European trading companies to come and have the business with the country. That's all in this chapter. Children, please read the chapter and underline important points. Thank you and have a nice day.